I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
And this is
Stone Temple Pilots. No memory and
Sin. There we go. Sin. Stone Temple Pilots. For time to talk about political commentary.
This is for Gabe, by the way.
Shout out to the big homie Gabe. You can hit us up at Middle America with Vin and Sori. This video is brought to you by the big homie Gabe. How would you, dear listener, like to have your song reviewed?
You can't. I'm just kidding. You can.
You can. 125 gets you straight to the headline where you get to decide what song we listen to. Now, if you want to do my favorite option, the community option, $1 at the gate gets you in that Patreon, and then you hook up with an alliance, and then you pull your points together, and that's how it works. This is Sin from the band Stone Temple Pilots.
Here we go.
All the kids used to wear shirts like that at school. The white kids. Whoa!
I just got heavy.
Yeah.
Well, this one seemed pretty obvious.
It was about politics.
Drugs and alcohol.
A relationship.
No, drugs and alcohol, actually. I don't think this was about a relationship. It was a relationship to drugs and alcohol.
That riff, like, it wasn't a very unique riff. Like, it sounds like, a little bit of Zeppelin. Like, da-da-da, da-da. But, like, the way they... See, that's one of the things that I'm learning as, I dig deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper into guitar, is that you don't necessarily have to have like a completely unique progression or riff, but you've got to own it and put a signature on it. I think a lot of bands, like, especially as a person coming up in the nu metal era, I think those bands did a terrible job of creating their own signature on riffs that they were borrowing. And some of that might also have to do with just how the market was glutted with these bands, because and this is no disrespect to Korn, obviously I love Korn, but the style was particularly simplistic, and so you were able to churn out 30 bands a day.
Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying.
We saw a band...
30 songs? What do you mean?
No, 30 bands. Like a record label was saying, hey, you wear baggy jeans, you get dreads, you rap a little bit, even though you're doing it badly.
Yep.
And
white kids won't know the difference.
Correct. We saw a band where they were in the middle of the song and the guitarist took off his guitar and started like smashing it on
he was sliding it on the speaker.
And it made absolutely no difference. And he was the only guitarist in the band.
It didn't
he was the only guitarist in the band.
It was the wildest thing. I was laughing so hard.
Yeah. We did that off camera.
Right.
Yeah.
We should have recorded it.
So, like, so growing up in the nu metal era, I really didn't see that. But after we're like coming pretty close to 2,000 songs. So, like, after listening to all these songs, I'm like, holy shit, this guy. You know what I mean? Like, I heard, but again, like the really legendary bands, I don't really know STP, but I'm pretty sure they're like an up there band as far as like, they're like they seem to be in a category, when we were doing Grunge Week, they seem to be in the category like right under like the Nirvana.
Oh wow, okay.
Like they're in the next group. It's like Kevin Durant with LeBron. Like he's in another category. Great player, but LeBron is like legendary. These were folks that. So I think STP is like right there. But I really love what they did, and even the lyrics. The lyrics were just like, it was very hard not to move because of the way that dude. What's his Scott Weiland? Pretty sure that guy died.
I was trying to change the light, but.
The way that Scott Weiland, did his vocals here was pretty crazy. I'm pretty sure it's drug related, unfortunately.
Wow. Yeah, that's crazy.
So,
Yikes. Because of this song, you know what I mean? It makes it more crazy.
Yeah, rest in peace to the big homie. He died 3 December 2015. So, I'm assuming it was a drug overdose, but I'm not sure. I probably should have made sure about that.
He died of an accidental drug overdose.
Okay, there you go.
On his tour bus.
When I was on the Middle America page...
he knew it was a problem. He made this song.
I was on the Middle America page, and the person who posted it, me and her had a conversation, and we were good. But, because, in Middle America, you're just reporting.
Yeah.
So people, and that's how I get, 95% of the videos that we do reviews on. But somebody had, I guess, found some pictures of, I'm not going to mention, Joe Biden's son. And Joe Biden's son apparently had a cocaine crack addiction problem. And keep in mind, you guys know I'm no fan of Joe Biden or his son or his family. For what they've done in my community. However, the Daily Mail, which, it was Daily Mail or Ben Shapiro's outfit, it was some right-wing outlet, posted a picture of him, and I don't know if it was photoshopped or what, with a crack pipe in his mouth, like all like phased out, like, and I'm like really, bro? Like, what the hell does that have to do with Biden's mental faculties? What does it have to do with, the decisions and the legislation he's going to make? That's just purely
it's even
mean-spirited bullshit.
Yeah, it's even worse considering that something had happened to his brother.
Correct.
And so it's like
Correct.
a lot of times people get into drug use because something horrible happened that they were not able to deal with.
Obviously
and
trying to medicate.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And then it just gets too far. So just to find somebody in that situation and then blast their pictures all over the place for just some political bullshit. And this is, again, why I hate politics.
And again, like, what's that gonna do? Like, is somebody gonna go, you know what, man, I was gonna vote for Joe Biden, but now I see this guy, man, fuck Joe Biden, I'm gonna vote for Trump. Like,
no, I just think
really?
that politics, it like spirals people down and they act in ways that they wouldn't normally act. Like, if you can have we were saying it earlier, where I was like, I'm not really that interested in politics. And you're like, yeah, but you cry over the stories. Yeah, when it's the people or there's the stories. But when it's just this broad overview of politics, like, people say and do the most horrible things. But then, like, if you brought to them just that individual story, like, if Biden or, let's say Biden's wife or whatever was, like, sitting down with them and they were like, look at this is, my son, blah, blah. I don't see them being, like, making it like it's a big joke or, you know what I mean? Like, when
and
you're
that
face
would
to
obviously
face.
have had to have been cleared by his son. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
What do you mean it'd have to be cleared by the son?
Like, what were you saying? Like, if the Bidens were going to sit down and have a talk about...
I'm just saying that
like
the individual person that posts that and makes it just like, like, I don't know what their point is. It's not like somebody's going to be like, well, I'm not going to vote for Biden because his son was on crack.
Especially in this kind of election.
I'm just saying that a lot of people become evil bastards on the internet when they see stuff and when they post stuff, and they post the most horrific and unmentionable things sometimes. And I think that if they were face to face with these people, they wouldn't do those things. They wouldn't say these things. Like, some of the stuff, like, I showed you that post, what they did with Kamala Harris. And it was so disrespectful. Like, there's so many things I don't like about her. But, like, you took it completely away from their political standpoints and you made it about something completely different. You objectified women, you dishonored women, and the person, like, could not see that what they did was dishonorable to women. They were like, oh, I post stuff negative about male, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, first of all, I've seen a bunch of his posts, and I've never seen him doing that, but... It
happens on both sides, especially to women.
It does happen on both sides.
Anytime a woman enters politics...
They go after her in a sexual way.
The left does it, the right does it all the time.
Yeah, it's wrong.
Like, they'll say, the Republican Party is a party of class and sexual modesty, and then they'll put... Obama's wife, Michelle Obama, in this $7,000 dress, and then they'll juxtapose it with Melania because when she was younger, she took naked pictures. And I'm like, you guys are so full of shit, you left-wing people, because you guys are the ones talking about being against rape culture and against slut-shaming. And here you are.
Yeah.
It
makes me so angry.
And
then it's like...
But the drug thing, though, like, I was so... Actually, initially, I was just like... It was a gut punch.
Sad.
Seeing him in that type of situation. And then, and obviously, doing the ministries that we've done...
Yeah.
People being buried...
Yeah.
For me, I thought to myself... It was kind of a check from God, really, like... Do you think that you would have been as offended... by this picture if you didn't have the experience dealing with those people? And I don't know. I truly don't know, because
as offended, maybe not. I don't know.
Or offended in general, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what I would have done, because when I grew up in the hood, like, the term crackhead, crackhead was just an insult. It was like, nobody was trying to understand you. Nobody was like, oh, you're self-medicating, blah, blah. I'm talking about specifically the hood. Like,
yeah, but...
Because, like,
even
we would see crackheads, and we knew what they were when they were on that shit. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Whereas you guys, like, if I said crackhead to a 16-year-old story, you would probably know. But you've never seen one. You've never seen one in their own vomit. You've never seen one... on the train and like everybody clears out because he's tweaking. So like, I don't know. I truly, genuinely don't know how I would have reacted to it. But initially, to me, it was like a gut punch, and then, then I became angry about it. Like, I didn't take down the post because, like, part of reporting the news is reporting what the article is saying, but there's also a meta aspect to that, which is the article itself is social commentary on our seats and labor. And so that's why, I made a comment about it, and then me and the person talked. Person who posted it, and the person who posted it is not an anti-Biden. I mean, she's a leftist, obviously. You know what I'm saying? She's part of the LGBT community, so like she's not going to be on Team Trump. Especially the letter she's on in relation to Trump is not very friendly. So me and her, I'm like, no, we're cool. It's you have to post the stuff in the sense that. If you look at this news organization for news, you can know now that these people have zero credibility. Because there was no reason to post that shit. Whether it was photoshopped or whether it was real, to me, both of them are horrific.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and at the same time...
Exactly.
Like, I was in I think I was in a debate with Maeda one time, and I made some offhanded comment about him getting booted from the I think it was the Marine Corps because his cocaine addiction. And Maeda says, "Oh, that's very Christian of you, mock a guy who was self-medicating when his brother died." I hadn't seen the interview with 60 Minutes or whatever, so where he gave some context to why he turned to drugs. Was it all true? I don't know. His dad's running for office. Be that as it may. That's all he told us, right? So Maeda goes, yeah, that's real Christ-like of you. And it was like, it really stops you. He goes, holy shit. Like, that's why I say, like, I'm not sure I would have been as offended or hurt by the picture if we didn't have people that we, whatever. I think for me, like, I perceived cocaine as like a white drug, that functional Wall Street. Like, you just don't hear about people saying my life was destroyed by cocaine. Like, I hear people saying alcohol destroyed my life, heroin almost killed me, speed, you know what I mean? Like, that type of shit. I've never heard somebody say, like, I was taking... So I perceive cocaine as, like, highly functional Wall Street people do that shit. Because they do. Like, during the whole crime bill thing and the different levels of prison time for coke versus... So I didn't really think of it as, like, a destructive drug or whatever. So I just, like, threw out some, like... And he's like, what the fuck's wrong with you? You know what I mean? So... That's what I'm saying, like, I don't want to judge myself more righteous than I actually am. Like, I probably would have done, been like, post some crazy article. But, and then the other side of it is, one is dealing with those people for 3 years or whatever, and then going into the metal community and seeing how many of the songs are about drugs, and how many of these guys knew the thing was going to kill them, couldn't stop it, like what you're seeing here. It's like... the inevitability of that thing and the event horizon that these people cross when they just accept that this thing has mastery over them. I
mean, that's the thing. Like, seeing how people were, like, so addicted and wanting to get out of these things that they were addicted to, and seeing that it seemed so impossible for them to get out of it. Like, we know people that did. Some people made it out. But it's like, holy moly, that had such a big hold on them. And then having so many kids of our own that I think, oh my gosh, like, if one of our kids is in that situation, how absolutely heartbreaking it would be. And like, a lot of them got ostracized from their families because they were kept taking advantage of their families so they could get their next fix. And so it like separates you from your family. It's just such a horrible situation. And then them being separated from their family, I think, exacerbated the problem. And
yeah,
it's just really terrible. It's just really, really, really terrible.
Down you go, suffer long. Down you go, sin make me strong. That's a really interesting way to look at it.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting that he calls it sin.
I know. Yeah.
Because this is one of the things that actually is a little bit unique about the Christian worldview in contrast to secular humanist worldview, which is generally, I mean, there are obvious exceptions, but basically secular humanists say, whatever you do with your body is your business because your body belongs to you. Whereas from a Christian worldview, no, it doesn't belong to you. Your body belongs to God. And so that means there are certain ways you need to treat the body. And so actively going into something that has no nutritional value, You know what I'm saying? Like if people go, well, yeah, but what about hamburgers? If you got dropped in a desert island and there was literally no food, you could eat a hamburger and survive. But if you got dropped in a desert island and all there was crack pipes and heroin needles, you would just die high. But you would die. So from a biblical worldview, ingesting something that has no medicinal, and when I say medicinal, I mean therapeutically medicinal and nutritional value is wrong, objectively wrong, because your body was made by God and given to your soul and your spirit.
I mean, no. You're saying, what degree are you saying? Like, it doesn't mean that we can't have a shot of vodka if we want to have a shot of vodka.
No, what we're talking about is drug abuse.
Okay.
Like, consistently engaging in something that you know is going to only destroy you. Mm-hmm. Right? Like, again, like a hamburger isn't only going to destroy you. You can take a hamburger in moderation. Mm-hmm. You cannot take crack or heroin in moderation.
Okay, yeah.
So from our perspective, we would say, yeah, you're sinning. And the fact that you're just destroying yourself, you're still destroying someone, A, that God loves, and B, you're destroying property that doesn't ultimately belong to you. So this is one of the weird implications to the modern mind of this whole bodily autonomy nonsense.
I know.
Which is
that's where my mind was going with that.
Yeah, but it's not your body from a Christian worldview. Your body belongs to God. It's on loan to you.
That's pretty crazy. When you think about that perspective, and I know that obviously not everybody has that perspective, but when you take that perspective and you put it into her body, her choice, it's like this is a whole other step, because actually, no, it's not your body.
Right.
It's God's body. Right. And then when
Both
you think
the
of
bodies,
right. And then the one inside you is even further from your own.
Correct. Correct.
It's very interesting.
Correct.
But
yeah, and then that
I can
obviously
see why that thought process would make some people really angry.
The assisted suicide thing is another one.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I know you're only quote unquote hurting yourself. You still have the right to do it because you can't kill somebody God loves. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean, I understand why people get angry about it, but that's a Christian world. I'm just talking about the comparisons between, because he labeled it as sin. Mm-hmm. So I'm talking about the comparisons between.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting that he did that.
Yeah. Yeah.
This part when he said, I didn't obviously like the term because you know how I feel about holes, but sink into the holes in my eyes, my sins have made me blind, sink into the holes in my eyes.
Yeah.
I thought that was just, how like they kind of like get sunken in?
Yeah, I think it's probably
a double
going into the metaphor of the eyes being the window to the soul. So he says, feel what were my eyes. So his eyes are basically gone, and I think what he's saying is that the drug has hollowed out his soul, basically. So now all you have is emptiness to sink into when you look at him.
And so he made him blind.
Yeah. So he's.
It's interesting because as he's saying that, he wrote this song, so he wasn't blind. He had understandings of what was going on.
Right. He wasn't soulless. He was actually full of soul, and the fact it looks like the Wikipedia was saying that he tried to do multiple stints in rehab and things like that, and they even said it was an accidental overdose. So like he wasn't one of these guys that was like completely succumbing to it. He was trying to fight it, and it just got the best of him.
That's too bad.
Which is what happens so often with these people. It's like it's hard, man.
Yeah.
So it's
yeah.
It's hard. So it's a good song. It really, really is sin. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of times, especially in our community, a lot of folks aren't parents.
Yeah.
So I think like being a parent changes your perspective on how we relate to God.
Yeah.
So when I say like, oh,
changes your perspective on a lot of things.
You're killing someone God loves. That's not like a cutesy, oh, God loves you. That's like, that's a serious crime.
Yeah.
Like if you threaten the life of my son or Selah,
we have a problem.
Like I'm gonna see you. You see what I'm saying? So when I say that, like I mean that shit. Like that sort of abuse of drugs is a murdering of somebody that God deeply loves. So
yeah.
What do you give the song?
Actually, I really liked the sound of it too. Like it was pretty heavy in there, and
the riffage was crazy.
Yeah. And the instrumental at the beginning was very nice.
So
I think I'm gonna go with a 9.7.
Yeah, I had 9.8 in my head. And I'm gonna stay there. Rest in peace to the big homie. If you're struggling with drug addiction, number one, that does not make you some sort of like scum of society. Everybody's got addictions, and hell, man, all this COVID shit is fucking people up, man. So what I would say is, don't pick up any new habits that you didn't have prior to COVID. I think that's a very good practical way to look at it. Whatever you were doing or not doing prior to COVID, don't pick it up now. So that'll save your life, and we need you here.
Seek the help you need.
For sure. Vin out.
Sori out.
Gone.